Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call this meeting to order, this meeting of the Great Falls Public Schools Board of Trustees. Today is January 26, 2016. And I remind us in the room, as per Montana law, we are required to record these meetings, and they'll be uploaded on our website at some point in the future. Mr. Deacons, would you please administer the roll call?
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. Chairman Johnson.
Here.
Kim Skornagowski.
Here.
Bill Bronson. Here. Craig Duff.
Here.
Marley Sunchild.
Here.
Amy Thompson.
Here.
Paige Trosky.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a full board with which to work.
Thank you, Mr. Deacons. And one of our presenters for the evening is Alexis, and she is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and I believe she wants to use the microphone. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join Alexis when she is ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very nicely done, Alexis. Thank you very much, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Skornagowski.
I move we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any further commentary or questions from this Board of Trustees regarding the agenda? Any questions or commentary from those in the room? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of adopting the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We have an agenda from which to work.
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Turowski.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any questions or commentary from our Board of Trustees? Any questions or commentary from those in the room? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're moving on to Roman 4, Communication. Character Strong, West Elementary School. Mrs. Mainwaring, welcome.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson, members of the board, Superintendent Hoyer, members of the community. It's my pleasure to introduce West Elementary School. Principal Lacey Lewis is here with her students, and they'll be presenting on Character Strong this month.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Hoyer, and our community. I'm so excited to share this with you today. You have the opportunity to hear from my leadership team at West Elementary. The character trait this month is perseverance, and they're going to introduce themselves, and they're going to share how they have persevered in their life, or they've watched somebody else persevere.
Hi, I'm Miriam and I'm on the West Leadership Team.
Hello, I'm Azalea and I'm also part of the West Leadership Team.
Hello, my name is Alexis and I'm part of the West Leadership Team. Today we will be talking about the character strong trait, perseverance. What is perseverance? Perseverance is pushing yourself to work through challenges and obstacles.
Why perseverance matters. We all have moments when we feel like we can't do it or we just want to give up on a big task. It's important to develop tools that help us work through those challenges in order to grow in those moments instead of giving up.
Hi, I'm Miriam, and the time that I had to persevere was when I tried out for the choir team Youth Sings. I felt discouraged and unsure. There were only 6 spots on the team. I kept practicing and trying to help me persevere through it. I tried out that Wednesday and I got onto the team. The lesson that I learned was to never stop persevering no matter what. My favorite quote is from a singer named Dolly Parton. If you want the rainbow, you have to put up with the rain.
Hello, I'm Azalea, and one time I had to persevere is when we had to study at home. When we were studying at home, it made me feel unmotivated and stressed. A way I was able to persevere through studying at home was by taking breaks to let my brain comprehend the information. And by the time I had finished studying, I was happy that I persevered through it. My favorite quote is from Nelson Mandela: "It always seems impossible till it's done."
Hi, I'm Alexis. A time I had to persevere is when I started doing gymnastics and tried doing the split, but I couldn't. So I practiced for years. I started when I was 5 by stretching, and finally last summer I did it. I did the split. The lesson I learned is to never give up and always persevere. A challenge from the West leadership team. Think of a goal or habit you want to develop.
Share it with someone important in your life and name one small step you will take today to make progress.
Write it down on a paper for accountability, and each day this week, give a short goal update on the next step you will take today, or whether or not you completed the previous day's action.
Perseverance starts with one small step.
Thank you for listening to us speak about the character strong trait perseverance, and we're excited to see what you do with this challenge.
Very nicely done. You know, each one of us in the room have had moments of doubt about how effective we are as family members, brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, community people. But it's perseverance that keep us going forward and doing good things. And we're very grateful for your reminder. Thank you for being here. All right. Communication B, Superintendent's Report. Mrs. Hoyer.
I believe, Chairman Johnson, that the young ladies have some stuff that they want to help
Oh, my
hand out
goodness,
while
okay.
we're getting ready for my presentation. So as we know here, but perhaps members of our community don't know who are joining us this evening, we are just wrapping up a month of appreciation for our school board members who are voted on by our community. We do have some gifts for you from elementary students who have made cards and give thanks to you. We want to be able to ensure that you have an opportunity to read these at your leisure. And take a look at the wonderful things that they did. There are some very, very creative cards, things that make you smile and laugh and chuckle. You'll love them, I'm sure.
They're beautiful. Thank you.
Before I start into my superintendent's report, we're going to throw one slide up real quick because we do have a special guest with us this evening, and there is I think it's fitting that perseverance is the character strong trait that we started with, because I'm pretty sure that Anders Blewett his picture is in the dictionary probably next to perseverance. And so with this, because in addition to being an attorney, his most important job is being a dad. And he has little guy wrestling practice coming up at 6 o'clock, and nothing says wound up kids than no coach in a wrestling match. So we're going to get him out of here before 6 o'clock. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Decons to walk us through some of the data for our innovative tax credits.
Thank you, Superintendent Hoyer. Chairman Johnson, members of the board, just a quick little recap before we have Mr. Blewett come up and give his piece of information as well. But this year we were successful again with our community in raising funds for the innovative tax credit. Our total was $1,008,000, and a lot of that credit goes right there to Mr. Blewett, who really does do the sidewalk walking, the touch base with the social networks, getting people to give us a phone call so we can give them a little more information. It's people like Mr. Blewett and those that donate to this program that allow us to have these types of unique opportunities for our students in our schools. And we know over the years how important our community sees these unique opportunities when it comes to CTE, advanced opportunities, STEM type learning. So We're in the midst of that remodel over at Great Falls High, as you know, the old shops into that innovative STEM center. We're looking forward to opening that up this spring. And with that, I am going to give Mr. Blewett the microphone up there for a minute and say thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, members of the board, Superintendent Hoyer. Thank you for having me. Thank you to the district. We could not have done what we have accomplished together in this community with the innovative tax credits without the school district, Great Falls Public Schools, led by Superintendent Hoyer and Luke, who just assumed a very hot seat in a position that he's adjusting to, and he made time despite tremendous obstacles, I think probably with transitions and me throwing a lot of new stuff at him that I worked with Brian in the past. He handled it marvelously, and it all came together at the end. And when the dust settled, the smoke cleared, and the 7 minutes passed, where $7.5 million was distributed throughout the state. Who is at the top? Great Falls Public Schools. And there are a lot of people, obviously, who are not here who made that happen. And their charity and their devotion to the school and their belief in public education really came through again. And we see it 3 years in a row. We've led the state. There's limited funds, and this community came together and I think send a very loud message to the state of Montana that we here in Great Falls care about education. We believe in what the school district's doing and our public educators and the students. And we had to persevere and put to use the tools that we learned, perseverance, when we were a year in school. And there's lots of applications for that. And this is a good example of it because it wasn't easy. It's never easy. We all have families. I have a job that demands a lot of my attention. And we were worried, I know, talking to Jamie Marshall at the start of this, whether we would have the means and the wherewithal and the resources to get it done. And we got it done again. And that's $3+ million that we've now raised that we would not have but for an organized, conscientious effort and a lot of perseverance to get there to help make you guys more perseverant in your activities and endeavors in the future. So thank you for everything that you do and appreciate your time, and let's try to keep this going in the future.
Oh, thank you.
One more quick note. Thank you very much. One more quick note. You see those 2 stars that are up there. We had contributors or participants that we were not able to get into the computer because of the time frame. If we were able to get those in, we would have been over $1.1 million. But that 7 minutes, 17 seconds went by really quick. So we've got more names to work with next year, and we'll keep pushing forwards to hopefully shoot for a higher goal than what we ended this year with. Thank you.
We know you have to go. Thank you.
So before we move on, just take a real close look at the minutes to the cap, and that cap is what's established by the state. It's in the next column over. The very first year, it was a little over 5.5 minutes, barely. And then it went to days and hours, and then it went to a little over 1 hour last year, and then this year it literally was 7.25 minutes. So a big thank you to the individuals up here who had to stretch their fingers because you have to hand enter it all and you're racing against the clock against everybody else in the state of Montana. But Great Falls Public Schools were able to validate a little over 1/7 the amount of money for the whole state. So, and this guy did a lot of work. So a very special thank you to Mr. Decons. And so today I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at as we take a look at the superintendent's report. And the very first one is tied directly to what we just shared with Anders and with Luke. And this is innovative summer learning. So ladies, for you, we're really excited about some of these opportunities. We're going to start this as a little bit of a slow roll. So this is 100% funded by innovative tax credits. Our teachers proposed through almost like a mini grant type proposal to offer 3 classes this summer. The first one is American Indian Astronomy and Earth Science. Now, these are free to our students and our families, with the exception of packing a lunch for 2 days and bringing a water bottle, which we will fill for the kids. And if students need help with lunches, we'll figure out some help with lunches. If you remember, the requirements is 1 day of hands-on learning here in the district, and then 1 day of a field trip experience applying what you learned out of the district or in the greater Montana neighborhoods that we have. So American Indian Astronomy is the first one. It is going to roll June 8th and 9th. It is for grades 4 through 6 only. That is Jordan Langford and Deva Patina. I hope I said her name right. When they are done there, they will be going to Bozeman, to the Museum of the Rockies, and doing their astronomy studies there as they look forward to expanding the knowledge of our students in grades 4 through 6. Code Quest is the next one. That is taught by Maggie Kothoff. She's the librarian over at East Middle School, and Shannon McKierney. And I believe she is Starbase. She up at Starbase. So, and this is a 2-day coding adventure. Students, grades who are going to be in grades 7 through 8, June 22nd and 23rd, and they will do a 1-day hands-on coding here. They'll actually be at East Middle School because that's where Mrs. Kothoff has all of her coding equipment versus pack it up and move it. We'll run that out of East Middle School, and then they're going to go to Montana Tech, and they're going to work with the professionals at Montana Tech and the professors on the coding that they did. And then Exploring Rocketry is our next one, and this is actually a fun link with a teacher who went to Space Camp, NASA Space Camp, and were trained through a foundation grant last summer. Courtney Francetic and Abigail Hansen. Abigail is the one who spent some time, and boy, they have some cool things planned for students. They will be building their rockets and doing their hands-on work here 1 day, August 5th, and then they will go to MSU, where they will work with their engineering department to fire those rockets on the 2nd day. So that's for students grades 6 through 8. So if you're interested, be sure you're ready. We're going to be sending information out in Wednesday flyers, or Wednesday envelopes, here coming up shortly, and registration will be that first week in February. Once again, completely free. Our goal is to start with 3 and see what we can grow into the future. But we're really excited about this for our students. So, last week I kind of got in one of those I love math niches, and I worked with Mr. Henneberg because we know that extracurriculars bring a lot of money into our community. We talked about that last year, but then I started thinking, having been a mom of someone who lived in a gym for the majority of her life, how many hours are our kids actually spending as they represent their school colors? Now, this is just athletes. This is not our music kids, which is equivalent to, if not more. Speech and debate is also not on here. So this is just looking at the number of winter student athletes. Most student athletes spend an average of 13 hours a week, 2 hours a day, 4 days a week in practice, 1 hour of pregame for 1 day, and then 4 hours a weekend or a week evening in competition. They then have about 13.5 weeks per season. That's with a start date of November 24th, all the way to state, knowing that some teams had their state tournament is sooner, like swimming and wrestling, and some's later, like basketball. I averaged it in there. So if each athlete spends 13 hours a week over 13.5 weeks, that's 175.5 hours that they dedicate wearing green and gold or blue and white. If you multiply that by the 400 athletes that we have in Great Falls Public Schools, it's 70,200 total hours. That's quite a bit. But putting things in perspective, it's 8 years. These kids are giving us 8 years of dedication to their schools and going to school. Some of them are also working a second job. And they're representing us well. They're representing our schools well and our community well. And so we're just very, very thankful for them. So if you see a student athlete, thank them, a coach, an official, facilities workers, because it takes a lot of people to pull this all together. Parents, if we have parents in here and you run your kids to practice in the morning, they put in that time, so do you. And our community for supporting it. That's a lot of representation that we get out of a season, and it's only one of 3 major seasons that we have every year. Speaking of seasons, Mr. Boyd, do you want to give us an update on baseball? Because we have met a goal.
Thank you, Superintendent Hoyer, members of the board, members of the community. Yeah, we did meet a goal a couple weeks ago. So it's my honor to let everybody know here in Great Falls that the group involved in fundraising for baseball has met their first season goal mark. We were pretty tight timeline-wise there, but we were able to meet the $95,050 on January 15th of 2026. So our teams, both Great Falls High and CMR, are ready to play ball. Process doesn't stop there, though, because as we outlined, it's another 2-year process because it's a 3-year community-funded goal. So the team of Zach Griffin, Callie Jean Tuckerman, John Boudelier, and then in the district, Mr. Hindenburg, Mr. Decons, myself, and Jerry, my admin assistant, we're already hard at work working with groups to gain the next $95,000 as we move forward there. I think they're already $18,000 or more on their way there. Ultimately, this is a great opportunity for our youth in Great Falls. Both coaches have met with prospective athletes as early as the week before Christmas break, and both school numbers before the season starts, they'll have well over 40 kids out for baseball at both high schools. So having a JV team and a varsity team will be easily fielded as we begin moving that way. So we're very excited to have first pitches in the middle of March and get ready to roll here. We'll see what Mother Nature decides to do. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So in addition to all of those amazing experiences, and we've used the term student athlete quite a bit, I want to talk a little bit about a group of students that we don't hear from very often. This is our Restart students. They will be coming, by the way, the last board meeting in February to give you their annual report. But Mr. Reeves and his Restart students recently visited Nonstop Local News. One of their goals is to really focus in on communication, and this was a great opportunity for them to learn about intra and interpersonal communication and mass communications. And a thank you, a very special thank you to this community partner who helps us often with our students as we learn about the greater skill of communication. Another community partner that we have been working with a lot lately, and this is a special thank you to Ronnie Griffith, Derek Singer, and then Lance Boyd, again, for doing our CTing, getting our kids out there. We've had some students who have done some really cool tours over at Calumet. The quotes that you see up there on the board are the quotes that came off of their post-experience survey that Ronnie runs with them, and I shared that last week at the Calumet community meeting. They received all the feedback from our kids. But this is for juniors and seniors from both Paris Gibson, Great Falls High, and CMR. And they did, Calumet really took a book out of WOW, or a page out of the book of WOW, I should say, where they did hands-on experiences with the kids. It wasn't the drive-by on the yellow bus type of field experience. It was get them in, get their hands dirty, and let them actually experience what some employees at Calumet can do every day. And we have great feedback from the kids. We are really looking forward to continued partnerships as Calumet starts to also grow their understanding of what our students can and can't do when they're there on their site, and showing them all of the different aspects from the business office and the HR office to the lab to the grounds themselves. We had great feedback, and the knock detector, you'll see that on the bottom right, was mentioned probably 4 or 5 times. So whatever the knock detector was, it was a hit with our high school kids. And what I felt was the most compelling is the number of kids who said, I really now see the connection between what I'm doing in chemistry and how I can apply that to a job outside of my classroom. So a wonderful experience. We look forward to a little bit more of that from community partners like Calumet. So just a quick update for you. A thank you to Trustee Thompson and Trustee Duff, who are on the safety committee with us, but we are continuing to work on our reserve SRO program. So here's an update for you. The formalized agreement is working its way through legal review and with counsel from all three entities. So when it came to us and was redlined, it went through our attorney, kicked it to the sheriff's office. The Cascade County attorney also did some work on it, and now the city attorney is looking at it. So with each of these steps, we're getting closer to an agreement to bring forward to you. But special thank you to those two trustees for their feedback and every step of the way for helping us with this process. We're excited to see where this agreement ends up. And the last step is data for the day. But one of the things we do in cabinet is we have individuals from all of the different departments take turns updating the cabinet, giving us common talking points, things they want us to really know and understand about the part of Great Falls Public Schools that they lead and things they need support in. When Erica Harp, who many of you know as our head nurse, shared information with us, there were so many compelling numbers and stories. We wanted to invite her to come in for data for the day today. So the last 3 slides are going to wrap up my presentation, but are going to kick off the data that she wants to share with you about the nursing program at Great Falls Public Schools.
slide. This is something that we're really excited about in my department. It is a project we're calling Grow with Grit, and it's a partnership with the Wiseman Hood Institute, formerly known as the Nebraska Research Center Institute. And so this is building upon a pilot program we did 2 years ago with a school nurse who was working on her doctoral program to be a pediatric psychiatric nurse practitioner. Through that project, she realized she loved research, so she chosen to go on and work with the Wiseman Hood Institute as a postdoctoral researcher. And what we're doing
Thank you.
And that shows you why I wanted that to be our data for the day. When she shared that information with us at Cabinet, it's really eye opening, and it speaks to the important role that these professionals play within our schools. So, Erica, thank you, and thank you to your staff. And with that, Chairman Johnson, I stand for questions.
Any
If you
questions
have
for
any.
Ms. Sawyer? Or for Ms. Harp? Hearing none, we'll move on. Thank you very much. At this point in the meeting, I would, how do you say, excuse the West people? We've got more meeting left, and it's mostly action items. And if you're so inclined to want to get on with your dinner, your homework, and other aspects, you're certainly welcome to leave. So again, thank you for your presentation. Communication 6, Section C, Audience Communication. I have two requests to speak before this Board of Trustees this evening, in no particular order. Mr. Midge. Mr. Midge, if you'd be so kind as to come up to the lectern and state your name for the record and welcome.
And my stepdaughter goes to North Middle High, middle school, and things have come apparent to me, some of the stuff that's being taught that I have questions about that I would like to have followed up on. And before I really got involved with all this, because we started having trouble with school, then I started getting into this homework system. And some of the questions and stuff, I really question the curriculum. Simple as that. I mean, we're talking about the Caribbean trade activity, and in her home notes that she writes and everything, and the questions that we had were like, what are the estimated percentage of Native Americans, things like we, what deadly thing was handed out to soldiers in World War II, and actually probably killed more soldiers than the war. I don't know, I don't understand where that came from. What animals allowed Native Americans to give up agriculture and become nomadic hunters of bison? Between what years did the population double? What is the four-person statehood, John? What does that got to do with the Caribbean trade activity? What type of genetic pool did Cosby think the Columbian Exchange left us with? And we're talking seventh graders. I'm pretty sure the genetic pool is a little more complicated than what they really can comprehend. Because I was asked questions about it, and I had to look it up to make sure that I was right. And then the film, I guess we don't have books anymore. That's surprising to me. We don't have books. We teach everything off of YouTube. And I don't really particularly care for YouTube, and I don't think the internet is probably a safe bet to bet on with what's out there available. But this guy gets up and says, how do people in America know a slave ship was arriving? And he gets in and opines about how they could smell them a day and a half away. Well, I've traveled around the world a little bit, and I've seen big garbage barges go out into the ocean to dump their garbage. This is Vietnam and Thailand and that. And I was pretty close to them. I didn't smell the garbage. So, I mean, this is just, you know, you've got a very impressionable age, and I don't think that was really necessary. Then in the 19th century comparison, what would a slave be worth in today's economy? Now, I didn't find the other part of that, but they wanted to know how much a slave was worth, and they talked about reparation and all of this, and you know, I don't know what that had to do with the Caribbean trade. Okay, and what percentage of American wealth before the Civil War was in enslaved people? I thought we were in the Caribbean, not, you know, in the South. And through what parent is slave status herited? I mean, really. I mean, you know, America had slaves, yes. We had 228,000, I think, approximately. But 600,000 of them died in the Civil War to free them. And then he started talking about how much money a slave was worth and talked about reparation. Okay. Well, what does a 12-year-old have to do with that? So, you know, and I'm just wondering, you know, they keep talking about how one of the questions that was followed was diversity attracts people. Why are we talking diversity? I thought DEI was not supposed to be infiltrating our schools anymore. So I'd really like to know who's checking our curriculum, who's approving these curriculum, and who is handing out stuff like this for homework. Because now I'm going to be a lot more involved in going through what our kids are being taught. Because we used to be back when I graduated from high school, 1 and 3 in math and history. And now we are 24th and 34th in the world in math and history.
Mr. Midge, thank you very much for coming and speaking to us this evening. We're not going to attempt to answer any of those questions clearly because you're looking for big picture solutions. And I've got your contact information here. Would you be amenable to allowing me to have one of our curriculum specialists contact you and have a conversation? We'll take that. Thank you, Mr. Midge. The second is Miss Campbell. And again, if you'd be so kind as to state your name and welcome. Not particularly. I'm the only one with the sheet. Okay. Yep. Thank you very much. We do have very specific policy regarding what's shown and what's not shown from the internet. And yeah, that's a good question. We have all of that material online, and I'm going to make sure you get a link to that material so that you can see and read it, number one. But two, we also respect the fact that there can be infractions, and that's unfortunate. And thank you for bringing it to our attention. Thanks for being here. Next item is Roman 7, action items. Action item A, financial report and check register for November 2025. Mr. Deacons.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson, members of the board, members of the community. Tonight I have several action items that will come in front of you. One thing that we've been working since I transitioned into this position and filling our positions within the business office is making sure that we're getting you timely information in terms of our financial reports. Happy to say after this meeting, we will be completely caught up. And when we hit February, the plan will be always to be that next month and not having to be catching up. Just want you to have that information up front in a timely manner, barring anything that would crazy come up. So with the financial check register for November 2025, you can see everything was attached to the agenda there. This is the up-to-date piece for the end of November with all the postings. We feel that it is accurate. It describes our position, and I ask that the board accept the monthly financial report and approve the register for payments of November 2025.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Taraski.
to accept the monthly financial report and approve the register of payments for November 2025 as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the monthly financial report and approve the register of payments for November 2025. Any questions or commentary from our Board of Trustees? Any from those remaining in the room? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Action item B, financial report and check register for December 2025. Mr. Deacons.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson, members of the board, members of the community. With the financial check register for December 25, again, we feel it is accurate. It does give you the correct information. There is one piece to point out. The end of November, when we move into December, is always a busy time of year because of the Thanksgiving holiday and banking and so forth. So you will notice in the payroll checks, there is a little bit of discrepancy there. Those checks are all accurate, though. What happens that time of the year is we're prepping. We have food service stipends to pay. This year, we also added the teacher stipend that goes in that time frame, so we try to prep that ahead of time. When we prep those stipends, checks are assigned, so sometimes it'll look like it's out of order. All the pieces there are accurate. So with that, I would ask you to accept the monthly financial report and approve the register of payments for December 2025.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee
I
Bronson.
move that we accept the monthly financial report and approve the register of payments for December 2025.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the monthly financial report and approve the register of payments for December 2025. Any questions or commentary from our Board of Trustees? Any questions or commentary for those in the room? Hearing, seeing none, I'll call for the motion. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action item D, Great Falls Public Schools Foundation Service Agreements, 26 through 31. Mr. Deacons.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, but I believe we skipped C.
I skipped C.
Thank you.
Too quick to stroke these alphabetical characters. Thank you for that, Mrs. Hoyer. Action item C, lowest qualified bidder for the East Middle School Lead in the Water remediation project. Mr. Deacons.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. You'll be
Very
happy to know
important one at that. We can't oversee that.
I flipped right over top of it too and had to come back because I'd looked at it earlier today, so don't feel bad. Members of the board, members of the community, this is a project that came to you quite some time ago, almost 2 full years ago, because it was a product of the 2023 legislature where they allocated funds for remediation of lead in public facilities, including public schools. Since then, Mr. Patrick, my predecessor, Brent Cutler, and Jack Norris over at Buildings and Grounds have been working closely with Mr. Montgomery from the DEQ and the state to work through this process. We finally made it to a point in December where we were able to go out for bid. We did have those bids come in on the 23rd, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. And with those, at East Middle School, the way the building is laid out and the connection of the water, there's places that hit for lead in several different places across that building. So what I'm working with now is the Department of Environmental Quality to just make sure we have all those places identified so we can be reimbursed at a correct rate and so forth. However, with this is something we worked close with TD&H and GPD because we know it's something that needs to be taken seriously. Safety comes first, obviously, with our students. So we worked through that process and received the lowest bid. I believe the lowest bid for the remediation came from Action Plumbing and Construction, with the bid itself being $790,500. We did make a few changes in there where they could use some updated technology and so forth for fittings, so they didn't have to sweat everything very slowly. Makes it a little bit easier, so that cost was able to come down as well. And we worked closely with our local team of Craft, the plumber group, to make sure they felt that was an accurate way to do that. If you've ever had a chance to walk down in East Middle School, when we talk about water and you're used to looking at it in your house coming in an inch pipe, you're looking at pipes that are coming in that are about 6 inches of copper running all through there. So you can see how that price does add up. Just so you know, around the district, there were other places where we did either decide to put filters on or do some other sort of remediation when it came to the lead because of the levels and so forth. But this one was one we felt we had to do the whole project in a timely manner. There were 3 bids that came in. Like I said, Action was the lowest, and our architect does feel it is accurate. So therefore, I am going to ask you to approve this lowest qualified bid, Action Plumbing and Construction for East Middle School, lead in the water remediation project in the amount of $790,500 for the base bid. And the total for this project should be the $790,500.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Turoski.
I move that we approve the lowest qualified bidder, Action Plumbing and Construction, for the East Middle School Lead in the Water remediation project in the amount of $790,500 for the base bid as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the lowest qualified bidder, Action Plumbing and Construction, for the East Middle School Lead in the Water project. Are there any questions or commentary from this Board of Trustees? Trustee Skronigoski.
I guess I just wanted to clarify on the record that students at East Middle School are safe, that there's no concern about water quality for our students.
Every place that was tested, if it had any sort of lead quality with it, we had to put on automatic filters. They had to replace several of the fixtures and so forth. It's just at a point that if we know and you're at the end of the G wing or whatever wing you're at and you're on every wing where it's hitting, we know we want to make sure we do a better job, and that's why the choice is made.
Thank you.
Any additional questions from our Board of Trustees? Any questions from anyone else in the room? If not, I'll call for the motion. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. Now we'll go on to D, which is Great Falls Public Schools Foundation Service Agreement 2026 through 2031. Mr. Deacons, once again.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. I'd like to tell you this is the last thing, but I think I'm up again at some point after this. Our service agreement with the Great Falls Public School Foundation. Foundation was started in 2010. This agreement that we'd had been rolling through very similar from the time that was founded in 2010. This was an opportunity that their board took to present it to us in a modified version. There were some changes. The number one change in there that you need to be aware of for sure is in the past, what happens is the district had been paying the district was responsible for paying the salary of the executive director. However, it was 10% of that salary. So what we would do is we would pay the full salary and the foundation would reimburse us 90% of salary and benefits. We're at the point, though, when we're talking the district is only paying 10%. The board felt it was in their best interest as well to make sure that they were the ones that were paying the salary and the district is reimbursing the 10%. So that's the number one change that's in there. There were some modifications in wording to bring things up to date. Like I said, the previous agreement looked very similar to the original one in 2010. So they went through that. Their attorney, as well as ours, made some adjustments that we could agree upon. This partnership will take us through 2031. With this particular agreement and the foundation, they've ran in 5-year periods. Prior to this, we'll keep them in those 5-year periods. The other pieces of fiscal implications that are out there, we do provide the office space up here for them to work. Minimal costs and equipment and supplies that we mutually agree upon are reasonably necessary, and we have a history of what those types of supplies are. A lot of that has to do with postage and letterhead. I think we kind of came to a conclusion of over the years. We will then be reimbursing the district, I should say, is reimbursing the foundation quarterly for the 10% of mutually agreed upon salary and benefits. And with that, the cost to the district is approximately $12,500. Obviously, Stephanie has served us well, but with her moving on, we'll have somebody else coming in that we'll have to negotiate with the district or the foundation on. So with that, I would ask the board approve the Great Falls Public School Foundation Service Agreement 2026 to 2031 as presented.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Thompson.
I move that we approve the Great Falls Public School Foundation Service Agreement 2026 to 2031 as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Great Falls Public Schools Foundation Service Agreement 2026 through 2031 as presented. Any questions or commentary from our Board of Trustees?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Bronson.
just one item. Mr. Decons, I believe we also noted there was an error in describing the school district on the recitals there. I assume that has been corrected.
Yes, we are striking, if you look at the very first page of that on page 51, at the very beginning, it says operational service agreement is made between Great Falls Public School Districts. It says a Montana nonprofit corporation. We are striking that because we are not a nonprofit corporation. Doesn't need to be in there. We are a public school that defines who we are. So those few words will be struck in the formal agreement.
Thank you for
Mr.
catching
Johnson.
that. Any further questions or commentary from our Board of Trustees? Any questions or commentary from others in the room? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving the Great Falls Public Schools Foundation Service Agreement 2026 to 2031, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're very proud of our foundation and happy to re-enter an agreement with them. Action item E, second reading and revised board policies 2600, 2655, 5122, and 5122P. Mrs. Hoyer.
Well, thank you, Chairman Johnson, members of the board. I'm glad Mr. Deacons got tired of talking. So I'll happily take this over for a moment or two. In front of you, you have your second reading of policies 2600, 3655, 5122, and 5122P, where there are language changes as recommended by Montana School Boards Association as well as the committee. As of this afternoon, just prior to this meeting, I have had no public or district input to make any additional changes. So the recommendation is that we approve those on second reading as presented.
Thank you.
Chairman Johnson, I just noticed at the top of that, it does say category report, but this is still an action item, just to note that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Trustee Toraski.
I move that we approve revised board policies 2600, 3655, 5122, and 5122P.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the board policies as enumerated by Trustee Toraski. Any questions or commentary from our Board of Trustees? Any questions or commentary from others in the room? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much for your work on the policy committee, administrators, and also our representatives from our Board of Trustees. Moving on to Roman 8, Action Other. Nothing was pulled from the consent agenda, so we'll move on to Roman 9, Reports, Discussion, and Policies. A, School Nutrition Report. Mr. Deacons.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. It is my pleasure today to introduce our Supervisor of Food Service, Jesse Youngers. She's the one that puts all these pieces together with her team. It's not an easy job. We need lots of employees out there, and really when we look at what we do in Great Falls Public Schools in terms of this across the district and other AA's, we're one of the few standalone pieces when it comes to food service, and she does a great job of making sure those books balance in the end as well. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Mrs. Youngers to give you her yearly presentation.
Welcome. Happy to have you here.
All right, happy to be here. Chairman Johnson, members of the board, members of the community, thanks for having me for our annual school nutrition programs report. I'll try to get through it as quickly as possible. Luke said I had 20 seconds. So, all right, just start really briefly talking about the programs that we offer. We currently offer 21 sites of National School Lunch Program. That's all schools. Under the district umbrella, we offer 18 sites for the school breakfast program. You can see there are 3 sites left off. Those sites are Meadowlark, Riverview, and CMR. Last summer, we operated 9 summer food service programs, so 9 sites. And then, of course, 7 of our sites fall under the community eligibility provision. So just give you a brief overview on each of the programs. The first one is the summer food service program. You can see that we had a great summer last summer. We had 9 sites operated by a very small number of staff that included 8 staff serve 17,000 meals. That's roughly 2,000 more than the summer prior. So a great summer. You may remember that 2 years ago, we've always worked in conjunction with Get Fit Great Falls, but 2 years ago, we sort of took over the oversight of the Park Pals program. So last summer was year two. We were able to offer activities, structured activities, and crafts, and all of that stuff at 4 parks. That was 46 days and just over 1,600 student interactions through that program alone. Does not include the meals that we served at the rest of our sites. It is simply interactions through that program. So we're really pleased about how that's going and how that's working for us. It certainly allows us to be, it allows us to hire 2 more of our own people, which is great. That oversight really helps streamline things. So we're still happy in that relationship, and obviously thankful to Get Fit Great Falls for trusting us with that, and then primary funding through United Way. So the next program is the school breakfast program. If you didn't know I was going to give you a quiz, I looked over this after I sent it to Sherry, and I was like, oh, son of a gun. Forgot to take that out. So there's no quiz today. Nothing on the human body groups or nutrients. But 18 schools that offer the school breakfast program. 14 of those are breakfast in the classroom. That means every single one of our elementaries that operates breakfast has it now in the classroom, as you probably have heard me talk to in the past. Putting it in the classroom reduces the stigma of participation. You can see in the next slide, this is Morningside. We rolled breakfast in the classroom in Morningside in April of last year. Prior to breakfast in the classroom, we served 57 breakfasts in the cafeteria. From the time we started in April through the end of the school year, that number is now 135 breakfasts a day. So a substantial increase, 2.5 times, I think, the number of breakfasts when we serve it in the classroom. So we're pleased with how that's working. When you move into overall school meals participation, we've got National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. These numbers are to the end of December, so our last serve in December, 77 days, 331,000 lunches, 229,000 breakfasts, which those are great numbers, amounts to about 7,280 average meals a day. We're not satisfied, unfortunately, but there's not a lot of times that I am satisfied with the numbers because I want to keep pushing. That has us on target to be about 1.3 million meals at the end of the school year. Unfortunately, it's 40,000 less than the previous school year. So if you go to the next slide, you can see that you've got the 2021 school year with that peak. As you know, that's the school year immediately following COVID. So our numbers have pretty much stayed steady in that 1.3 million spot. I want more. I want more kids to eat. And as it turns out, warm winters like we're having doesn't work very well for us. So I'm sure we all know that we need some snow, but we need some for our own school lunch programs too. The next slide is just really broad level data. 45% of our students across the district qualify for free and reduced meals. Our participation, separate from free and reduced meals, participation is roughly 40% at lunch and breakfast. And of those meals, about 60% of them are eaten by students who qualify for free and reduced meals. That said, we obviously, if you apply that data across the board, it looks like we're missing about 2,000 kiddos. So what do we do next? Where do we look for those opportunities? Those are all things that are floating around in our office, trying to figure out how we can reach more kids, how we can draw them back in or get them to participate. Again, super high level. If you're not familiar with how you qualify for free and reduced, there are 3 separate ways. The first one is categorically eligible students. Those are students who qualify for other federal assistance programs, SNAP, TANF, FDPIR, homeless, migrant, runaway, foster. All of those things are automatically loaded into our system. We don't have to do anything with them. The second way is based on household income and size. Those students obviously have to qualify by filling out an application, either online or on paper. And then the last one is that community eligibility provision. I mentioned that there are 7 CEP schools across the district. Those are listed on the next slide: Longfellow, Whittier, West, Mountain View, Sunnyside, Skyline, and Giant Springs. So obviously looking at how we can optimize that particular program, access more kids. Unfortunately, those are all great things, but they lead to the saddest part of our situation, which is meal charges. We are sitting at about $112,000 in meal charges. That is district-wide, and it is as of last week. The number is a moving target, obviously. I will tell you that I look weekly to see where we're at, and we have been hovering for the last couple of months in that 110 to 115,000 range. You know, we get a burst of payments, and then they die off, and then we'll get a burst of payments. So I did break down the meal charges for this particular presentation, which I haven't done before. You can see that the majority of the meal charges are held by the high school age, for about 46% at the high school level and 39% at the elementary. You move over to the next graph, you can see that a significant portion of them are obviously held by paid students, which should be pretty obvious, I guess. So there are currently 1,100 students impacted by meal charges. That said, on the next slide, how are we managing all of that? There are a number of ways. This summer, we sent out letters to everyone in the mail that owed money. So the thought process is we'll get them the information. Perhaps they can work on it throughout the summer, come in with a clean slate. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that I didn't dig really super deep into seeing how that went for us. But we did communicate that coming out of last year and coming into this school year. We have very specific communication going out to anyone that owes over $250. They receive a letter co-signed by Superintendent Hoyer and myself. That goes via the mail. We have automated messaging going twice a week to anyone that owes money. That goes via Parent Square. We have Wednesday envelopes at the elementary level. We do stand on a 1 meal rule, so no kid is going hungry. We're obviously serving, regardless of status, they're receiving the same meal that every student across the district has the opportunity to receive. It does go on their account naturally and continues to accrue, but we will certainly feed them. We have limited interactions, really not encouraging staff at the point of sale to address any of this in the lunch line. It's not the student's responsibility to bear that weight. So we're really focused on how can we get to them via phone, mail, Wednesday envelopes, all of those things. But just know that meal charges they're not unique to our district. It's a nationwide problem, but kiddos are getting fed. Moving into projects, special thanks to the Buildings and Grounds team at the district. We utilize their skills frequently. If you're a plumber or an electrician, you probably hear from me once or twice a week. But also going into the summer, obviously we're using the carpenters and everybody. So I'll just talk a little bit about what we did last summer. We were able to finish up the dishwasher project. That was a huge project at East Middle School. It's a conveyor style dish project that had to be tied into existing dish tables. So that was fairly extensive. We replaced CVAP ovens in probably 6 locations and then have ongoing needs for replacement of reach coolers and freezers. The big project, the one that consumed lots of people's time, is the warehouse freezer and cooler. So I'll start by saying thank you for your support of the renovation at the district office. The warehouse freezer and cooler, you know, the roof was failing. We could use extra space. We can always use extra space to optimize how we're purchasing. So the next slide has some photos of the process. It was lengthy. It was a rocky start. There were lots of delays, but it is done and it's fantastic. So again, thank you. One of the things that we hope to do, one of the challenges of our business right now is the times in which we're open, right? We're open from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. at most of our production sites. That is posing a significant challenge for deliveries. And so, with this space, specifically the cooler, we're hoping to be able to centralize some of our production and then use our own manpower to get it out there. Our guys are going out there anyways. So we're hopeful that in the next couple of months we can make some transitions that are helpful to our staff, and obviously they don't have to stay late waiting for deliveries. In other news, we were able to be part of the Montana Music Educators Conference and MHSA this last October. Our staff at Great Falls High did a fantastic job of preparing over 1,200 box lunches over the course of 2 days. So while they could have been basking in the sun somewhere on vacation for a 4-day weekend, they did volunteer their time. Of course, they were reimbursed, but they did stay back and helped support that event. Summer EBT is something that's going to be talked about here real shortly. The program operation at the state level has been taken over by DPHHS and sort of has removed OPI and school nutrition programs from that. So last week, this slide said question mark unknown, but I made some slight edits as late last week they put out some information. So we now know sort of what the details and the expectations of us are going to be to provide that free and reduced information to the state so that we can optimize the number of students who will receive that benefit this summer. We'll work through all of that with IT and get all of that data when it needs to go. So just know that summer EBT is around the corner. Here's maybe the big one for us anyways. Going into this school year, we were faced with a pretty significant need to make a staffing adjustment. We were coming into the school year with more vacant cooks positions than we had filled. And with 4 production sites, there was just no way that we could try to make 4 production sites work with 4 cooks. So we ended up having to make sort of a last minute decision, although it was not unplanned. It was sort of a, ooh, are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? And yeah, we're going to do it. So we pulled the Band-Aid off. We ended up closing Paris, at least temporarily, as a production site. Now, Paris itself produced for 2 of our 4 runs across the district. So roughly 2,000 meals a day came out of Paris. So it was a huge load to have to disperse, which put roughly 700 or 800 meals on East and CMR, and then Great Falls High, never having produced for anyone but themselves, had to learn that process of what it's like to produce, transport, and then receive back. So we have the best team at Great Falls High. There was no question that they were not going to be successful, and of course they have been. And everybody has been. We have adequate staff, not great, adequate staffing to be able to staff our production kitchens currently, without a whole lot of optimism for being able to open Paris at least this school year. So, I guess lead us into staffing. We are made up of about 101 total staff, 18 satellite leads, 63 food service employees, 4 production managers, 7 cooks. We have 4 cooks currently. We just hired one last week, so we're hopeful we'll be able to bring him on board soon. And then we'll still be looking for those 2 at Paris, but 6 warehouse folks as well. The last thing is always our opportunity, which is employment. We're currently looking for 8 food service employees, 2 satellite leads, 2 production cooks, and then that 1 production manager for Paris. So fingers crossed, tomorrow at this time, we can say we're looking for fewer. But that is all I have for you. So I guess I appreciate your support, first of all, and take questions.
That's all. That's all you have for us.
It is
That seems like quite a bit.
a whole year's worth of
And
data.
you paraphrased it from 20 seconds to how much? Any questions? Yes, we have one from Trustee Thompson.
I was just wondering, could you give us a little bit more information about the students that that you're not feeding? Just because you'd mentioned that you're hoping to feed them more. I mean, what is the category of these students? Are they bringing their own lunch, or or are you worried that they're
High school kids going to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think our opportunity is really at the high school level. We feel like we have the capacity. I think actually right before Christmas, I watched the surveillance of the service at CMR for a random reason, nothing specific. And from start to finish, their serve is about 8 minutes. Remember, there is one lunch at the high schools, one lunch time, right? Going into that, you're concerned about are all kids going to have the opportunity to eat? Is the lunch time going to be long enough to support that? Are the lines going to be long? They clear those lines in 8 minutes at both high schools, which is great for kids that are eating. We just need to figure out how we can draw more kids in.
I get it is that true that they're just going elsewhere to eat, or are they just not eating, or are they bringing their lunch, or is there a little bit of everything?
I think I would say there's a little. I can't speak to the specifics. I think there is probably a little bit of everything. If you've been in any fast food area or
Right.
Albertsons or any of those places near lunchtime. Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? If not, thank you very much. And we have great admiration and respect for what you do. Moving on, reports, discussion, and policies. Roman 9B, first reading of revised board policies 1111, 2131, 3410, 7122, and 7122F. Mrs. Hoyer.
Well, thank you, Chairman Johnson, members of the board, and members of our community. A special thank you again to the committee who comes together to do this work, to review these and be sure that we are following statute as written. And special thank you this time to Trustee Duff, who was unable to make our last meeting, but he sent a whole page of commentary to us so we could be sure that we caught his review of the policies that were brought forward by MTSBA. So in front of you, you will see policies as read, 1111, 2131, 3410, 7122, and then the form that goes with 7122. And I just want to point a couple of things out to you as you look over these for our first reading. The first one you will see on page 71 of your agenda. This is policy 1111. And on line 35, you will notice that there is a strikeout and it changed the days from 30 to 40. This is statutory, but when you go into Montana Code Annotated, it has not been updated yet on Montana Code Annotated, and it's a reflection of House Bill 406 from the 2025 legislative session. And so I believe, and I'm looking over at Allie, that we'll probably put House Bill 406 2025, and then when it is updated per MCA, we will make that adjustment.
Superintendent Hoyer, just
Yes.
a quick update on that. Andrea did call me back from OPI.
Perfect.
If you're out there and you're looking through some of these when you're doing your research, know that a lot of these links are down right now, which is a good thing, she said, because what that means is they're updating them. So the new ones will be in. They're just behind.
Even better. Thank you very much. And so the rest of that you'll see, the things that are italicized, bring us into statutory compliance. The next one, policy 2131, this deals with student and family privacy rights. It talks about surveys, parental rights regarding surveys, those that are created by a third party, surveys that request personal information, instructional material related to the surveys, and the collection of personal information from students for marketing, which is prohibited. And so once again, this is statutory. alignment as well as policy alignment to other policies that were passed in the last legislative session. And you will see if you take a look on page 75 through 76, there is a lot of italicized cross references. And that is the work that the committee did to be sure that all of our policies matched each other and were complementary versus running contrary to each other. Policy 3410, which deals with student health, physical screenings, and exams. There is a large section in the middle, lines 18 through 33, that are crossed out. You will see that they have been replaced as per MTSBA, so lines 35 on page 77, and then over on page 78, lines 1 through 13. And that comes out of the legal or the policy cross-referencing that we will have. Once again, statutorily and policy realignment is the reasoning behind this one. Financial management is 7122. This is a two-part series you will see because there is a form that also goes with this in ours. We caught several things. The very first one to draw to your attention is line 24. A long time ago, and I would assume it's 2019, looking at the revision history, but it was formatted differently. It was formatted into letters versus bullets, and so where it directed you to take a look under A through F, we changed that to the bullets listed above to be sure that we modernize that with the formatting. And then also the amounts on lines 27 and 28 have been changed to match the statutory requirements. And I believe Mr. Decon's talked about that in our last budget meeting, our community budget meeting that we had, where he said you will see the differences then. And then once again, thanks to Trustee Bronson, I'm on line, let's see, it is 57 on page 80. That House Bill 22 that has been annotated. So MCA 20-9-216 is the new annotation for that one, and we will update that as well. And then the very last part for you to review is the form that goes along with 7122. That's found on pages 81 and 82 of your agenda. And it has been updated. If you take a look at the table, you will see the estimated changes in mills up at the top. Moving over to where it says estimated impact, home of $100,000. The next line says $300,000 and then $600,000. That is directly from statute as passed by the last legislative session. So with that, those are the policies for you to review. I will be taking both input from the district and the community and we'll bring them forward on the next board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hoyer. Any questions for Mrs. Hoyer? If not, we'll see these policies again at our next regular meeting, which is on February 9 for potential ratifications. So do please give them your eagle eye in the interim between our meetings. And with that, we are on to Roman 9. Item C, discussion, committee reports, and comments. Trustee Sunchild, I'll ask you to kick us off.
Just a shout out to board members that we all appreciate each other and have enjoyed our month of appreciation and all of these things. I miss little children notes. So that's wonderful.
Isn't this wonderful? Yeah, I love it.
And Amy, thank you for all your hard work to make sure we could all figure out how to get to the superintendent evaluation. If I know you, you've been stressing out about that. So, I'm sure. So good job. Shout out to Charlene. Eamon, she's obviously not here, but she has put in so much extra work and she arranged a time for me to come and meet with her so I could do mine. And her first words were, "We meet again," because the last time we met, she came in to help me with Seesaw on the Chromebook because I was terrified to do Seesaw lessons when we first got the Chromebook. But the thing about her is she's always willing to help, but she doesn't make you feel bad for not knowing and understanding the things that she gets so easily. And it took about 30 seconds, and I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. And then I got a chance to visit with her, and but she's really put in a lot of time and effort. So big shout out to her.
Thank you. Trustee Duff.
So I had the privilege a while back of attending the LIFT group when they presented to one of the elementary schools, the 6th grade class, trying to prep them for their transition to middle school. What a great group that is. They did a fantastic presentation. They do a good job. And it's a great program. I enjoyed that, and I appreciate the opportunity to sit in the back and watch it. It was great.
Yeah, that's about it.
Perfect, thank you. Trustee Thompson?
Well, I'm hoping that all of you are not, or none of you are scolding me for taking this to digital for Superintendent Hoyer's evaluation, but I do appreciate all of you for bearing with us as we go through that process. And I just want to remind the public that through the end of the month, if you want to, there's a form on a survey online that you can go on to the Great Falls Public Schools website and fill out an evaluation of Superintendent Hoyer. We would definitely appreciate all of the feedback that we can get, and we will be reporting that out next month.
Thank you, and we're not going to hold you personally responsible for
Okay.
it. Yeah. Good, good. Trustee Taraski?
I just have a few quick comments, I guess. I just want to, I love when the elementary school kiddos come and talk to us. It's always great to hear what's going on in their schools and how they're using Character Strong. A shout out to our school nurses. They really, truly do so much for our kids and make it so that regardless of medical conditions, the kids in our district do have the opportunity to learn the same as anybody else, and they go above and beyond for our kids every day. And then last, I just want to thank the parents who came and spoke out tonight. Thank you for looking at your kids' homework and being diligent in that, and then having the guts to come up and talk to us. And it can be a little intimidating, but we really like hearing from you guys, and we really appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Bronson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'll start out by thanking you for attending the insurance committee meeting last week while I was out of state. I know from the conversation I had with you before this meeting, you found it enlightening.
Indeed.
So to speak. But on that subject, just so that the rest of the trustees are aware, we continue to slog through the information that was provided by the Bridged Alliance folks and then filtering that through Mr. Bonville at Alliant and allowing our insurance committee to have the benefit of additional information and hopefully make a final recommendation to us about whether or not we should be joining the new Bridged Alliance program and the trust, and that will be forthcoming in the very near future.
Mm-hmm.
And then second, just for your benefit, I'm headed to Helena on Wednesday. We have a meeting of our State School Boards Association. I can tell you from looking at the agenda that was sent to us by Mr. Melton here a few days ago, it is jam-packed. A couple of things that are important on there. There will be some conversation about the way that we continue as districts to deal with the innovative tax credit program and the fact that it's a race to the end within a very short time period, and staff at MTSBA have indicated we as a board will discuss it, and perhaps the legislature is going to have to revisit how we do those allocations because it is a very unfortunate system the way it's set up. We're doing the best we can, but if there are ways to improve it, we'll certainly start looking at it. And then also there'll be a lot of updates related to where we are with the interim commission dealing with school funding and some previews about what our positions will be going forward in the 2027 legislature.
Thank you. Trustee Skordigowski, please.
So I wanted to start by thanking Luke and his team, along with Mr. Blewett, for once again really maximizing the opportunities that our students have by taking advantage of the innovative tax credit. And I think it's just another example of our district taking advantage of every opportunity that's given to us, both to provide opportunities for students, but also to relieve taxpayers, knowing that our budgets are tight, and we want to make sure that our students have exciting, innovative programs that they can take advantage of. I wanted to thank both of the parents who came here tonight for advocating for your students and for education. We appreciate you taking the time, and I know that as a parent myself, there's very, very, very few meetings that I attended because I know how busy your lives are. So thank you so much for coming and for staying for our entire meeting. I also just wanted to praise both Erica Harp and Jessa Youngers. I mean, we really have two truly top-notch individuals in both of those positions. that certainly could be. Essentially, Jessica runs a business here in our district, providing food, nutritional food for our students. And I just wanted to note that both of these people are examples of essentially positions in our district that really look at the whole child and how they see that the health of our students really impacts how they perform in our schools academically, and we couldn't do what we do without you. So we appreciate both of you. So thank you for taking the time to present, but also thank you for busting your tail every day to solve all the problems that come across your desk, and make sure that our kids have cherry blossom chicken to eat and pizza, healthy pizza. So thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to just conclude by saying we really do appreciate Jessa and Erica's work. Thank you so much. And our administrative team, thank you so much. These meetings, hour and a half, hour and 35 minutes, just packed with information, all of it relevant, all of it useful. And it's important for us to keep our district running efficiently and make sure that our kids are getting the very best education and health care and meals that they can possibly get. So we're very proud of our district. But it takes a lot of work from a lot of people, and many of these people are in this room at this point in time. And upcoming events. Well into February, here we go. And our work continues. Thank you very much. And if that's all there is in terms of business, I would propose a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you.